The Ledge is a 2011 adventure thriller film where a dangerous climbing expedition turns deadly. Protagonist Kelly faces life-threatening situations, ultimately outsmarting her pursuer, Josh. The movie ends with Kelly's triumph as she reaches the summit, a thrilling tale of survival. In the opening scenes of the film, the audience is captivated by stunning shots of the Dolomite mountain ranges, capturing the awe-inspiring beauty of the natural landscape. Two friends, Kelly and Sophie, prepare for their challenging climb up a 10,000-foot sheer side of a mountain. Kelly's locket stirs memories of her late boyfriend, adding emotional depth to their adventure. In the meantime, four rowdy men arrive outside in a jeep and make a lot of noise, catching their attention. Josh, one of the men, shows interest in Sophie. Later, Josh knocks on their door, introducing himself with a cheesy pickup line. He invites the girls to a party, promising drinks and other activities. Sophie declines the invitation after Kelly's refusal. Scene shifts to Josh's friends. Zach mentions locals said they're the only climbers due to icy conditions. Josh approaches them, making lewd jokes that anger Taylor, highlighting Josh's aggressive and disrespectful nature. Inside the cabin, Sophie persuades Kelly to have a drink with the guys, promising they'll return on time. After repeated requests, Kelly agrees to join them. As the sun sets, the girls sit with the guys around a fire, Sophie, talkative and playful, while Kelly remains quiet, sipping her drink. Sophie teases Josh about his Ritmo Mundo Quantum Elite watch with a personalized locator beacon. He explains that with a push of a button, a group of ninjas can be summoned anywhere in the world. Sophie informs the group that she and Kelly intend to conquer the Anti-Lao. Taylor reveals their similar plan to climb the mountain but is surprised when Sophie mentions their intention to climb sheer. Kelly attempts to leave, but Josh forcibly grabs her arm, prompting the other guys to intervene. After Kelly departs, Josh proposes that they all climb the face with the girls the next day. Sophie scoffs at the idea, taunting them, stating they lack the courage to climb the sheer face and will choose the easier route to the top. Back in the cabin, Kelly switches on a handheld camera and watches a video she had recorded of her boyfriend, Luca. They talk about how this will be his 5th time climbing the Anti-Lao with Kelly, who will be attempting it for the first time. Outside, a drunken Sophie is making out with Josh. She briefly leaves, and his friends remind him about his fiancée, Amy. But Josh says he is not going to sleep with just a single woman for the next 40 years and goes after Sophie. As Sophie is about to walk back, Josh shows up and tries to kiss her. Sophie tells him to back off, but he starts to force her, letting out his anger at being mocked earlier on. Josh's friend comes to her rescue. While Sophie manages to scratch Josh's face, one of them tackles Josh. Sophie manages to escape briefly, but the guys pursue her, attempting to persuade her not to press charges. The situation escalates when they catch up to her, and Josh pushes her over the edge. Sophie survives the fall with a cracked spine. Meanwhile, Kelly wakes up, hears the commotion, and finds the campfire abandoned. The guys corner Sophie, and Ray attempts to call 911, but Josh tells him no one will believe that it was an accident, because there is a scratch on Josh's face, bite marks on Zach's hand, and there will be skin under her fingernails. Josh manipulates his friends into that they need to kill her, otherwise, their lives would be over. He then grabs a big rock and smashes Sophie's head. Josh then hands the rock to Zach, and urges him to hit the dead girl. He even grabs Ray's hands and covers them with Sophie's blood so that every one of them is equally involved in the crime. After that, Josh suggests that they clean her nails and throw her further down, making it look like she was high and trying to climb. Kelly senses danger and quickly turns on her handheld camera. Amidst disposing of Sophie's body, she inadvertently lets out a scream, alerting the guys to her presence. Spotting her camera, they pursue her. Kelly manages to escape into the forest, evading them, while the guys split up to hunt her down. Kelly races to her cabin, encountering Ray, who lets her go. Grabbing her climbing gear, she heads for Antilao, hoping to outpace the less experienced guys. As she climbs, Taylor catches up, but she manages to fend him off. In a final struggle, he falls, breaking his leg. Taylor breaks his leg badly, and it's very painful. Josh gets angry and threatens Kelly. Instead of taking Taylor to the hospital, they give him painkillers. He tells him to call for help if they're not back in 24 hours. Josh is completely focused on retrieving the camera, which consists of evidence declaring them as murderers. As the three guys get ready to climb after Kelly, Kelly opens her bag to see what equipment she has on hand, which isn't very much. Her ropes had fallen down when Taylor was trying to get to her, and she wasn't wearing the proper gear either. But for her, it's the fight of her life, and Kelly isn't going to give up. Below her, the guys find Kelly's phone, which is lying on the ground, having fallen out when Kelly started climbing. Josh keeps the phone and tells his friend to keep preparing. While he goes back to the cabin, Ray feels guilty, but Zach reminds him of their long friendship and instructs him to stick to the plan. When Josh doesn't return, Zach goes after him. He finds Josh coming out in a hurry, and berates him for not waiting for him. Then they go back to start climbing, and begin to pursue her as Kelly continues climbing. Kelly stays calm, following Luca's advice to focus on her mind, not just her muscles. She checks her map, while the men, who are better equipped, trail not far behind. Kelly encounters a snake crawling on her hand, making her sweat, but she stays still until it leaves. Her hands, unprotected by gloves, bear the toll of climbing. She then stops to have a drink of water, but unfortunately, her bottle falls down below. Josh sees this and mocks her by drinking water from his own bottle. He continues to taunt her by sending himself a request from her social media account and using her phone to put up false statuses in her name. Despite the challenges, Kelly perseveres and continues climbing. She discovers a rope that could aid her in reaching a higher handhold, but struggles to grasp it. Kelly extracts a wire from the lining of her bag and uses that to reach the rope. She remembers Luca's lessons on the maneuver and successfully pulls it off. Kelly takes the difficult path near the sheer side of the mountain to escape, while Josh and his friends opt for an easier route, climbing higher and faster. Next, Kelly finds an old tent and takes a break. Meanwhile, Josh and his friends climb above her, blocking her path. Josh offers her a deal: tie the camera to a rope, and they'll let her go unharmed. Kelly, however, is cautious. Instead, she ties a note to the rope, making Josh further enraged. Having no other choice, Kelly is forced to spend the night in the tent that she has found. She finds several items in the tent, including a sharp object, which she pockets for further possible use. Kelly then fixes it up the best she can and is able to climb into it later that day. Although her way up has been obstructed by Josh and the others, she at least gets a chance to rest and have some food. Flashback to a year ago, she and her boyfriend visited the same spot to climb the mountain. But unbeknownst to Kelly, her boyfriend is also planning something else. Her boyfriend surprises Kelly by proposing to her. However, this happy occasion is cut short when the guy loses his footing and falls. He doesn't survive the fall and leaves a distraught Kelly behind. Back to the present, as Kelly settles in for the night, Josh fills up a bag with stones and throws it down. Luckily, Kelly manages to keep herself safe. In the dead of night, Kelly is startled awake by Zach, who descends to capture her. She fights back, stabbing him, and both tumble out of the tent, clinging to the rope for their lives. Ray and Josh haul them up, but when Josh tries to snatch Kelly's necklace, she seizes the knife, severing the rope and sending Josh plummeting. Kelly's luck prevails as she grabs the falling tent, perching on the mountain's face. With her shelter gone, her only choice is to endure the night shivering in the cold. Zach is now hurt and wants Josh to call for help, something which Ray agrees to do. Josh agrees and goes away to make a call. That night, when the three of them are sleeping, Zach turns to Ray and tells him that he suspects Josh to be lying. Zach suspects Josh never made any calls. Zach suspects that Josh killed Taylor while he was inside because he doesn't want Taylor to call for help. Therefore, Zach and Ray plan on triggering the locator beacon from Josh's watch but fail as Josh is revealed to be awake. He threatens them again and they all go to sleep. Later on, Zach, who got hurt on his leg, gets up to urinate, but then Josh hits him on the head and pushes him down the cliff. In the tense night, Ray wakes up from his sleep, and Josh lies to him about having sent Zach to Taylor. Next, Ray climbs down the ledge to meet Kelly. He gives her his food and apologizes for what happened to her friend, and requests Kelly to give it to him, and in return, he'll tell Josh to spare her lives. But instead, Kelly tells Ray that Josh has killed Zach. She saw his body fall from the ledge. Ray doesn't believe her, so Kelly tells Ray that Josh will kill them both no matter what happens. When Josh checks the camera, he finds that the camera is missing the memory card. In the meantime, Ray tries to call Taylor's phone, but to his surprise, he hears it ringing in Josh's pocket. The two of them proceed to attack one another. Unfortunately, Josh manages to beat Ray, finishing him off, set him on fire and push him off the cliff. Now that all of his friends are dead, it's Kelly's turn. Meanwhile, Kelly looks around and sees that her knife is not far away, so she moves carefully to get it. Once she manages to get the knife, the sight of a snake provides her with an idea of what to do next. Josh gets ready to go down to attack Kelly himself, and he demands the memory card. Kelly tricks him by telling him that the card is in her bag, inside a crevice. As Josh puts his hand inside, his hand is bitten by a snake. He gets mad at Kelly's plan and starts to attack her. Then Kelly cuts his rope off, and Josh falls only to grab onto a rock. And he starts to lose strength. Kelly is able to grab her necklace off of him, and she also pushes the button on his watch to summon assistance right away. And now it is Kelly's time to do the fatality move. Josh falls to his death. Kelly is relieved that her nightmare is over and that she still has her ring in her hand. In the end, Kelly continues her climb up to the top. She completes the climb she had set out to do with Luca, and as the sun rises, she hears the sounds of a helicopter in the distance. This is where the movie ends.